So I have a severe peanut allergy. I also have a twin sister who's always been jealous of me. It's because we're identical, but for some reason I'm the one that always lands the modeling gigs, and she's so jealous. But what I was not expecting was the day of one of my biggest shows, she gives me something that's laced with peanuts, and I nearly die. Well, she doesn't know that I know it's her, but I'm going to expose her and might even get the police involved. About 3 years ago, I was betrayed by the person who knew me the most. I had been with her from the moment I was born and thought that we would never be separated. I knew her every insecurity and what made her happy and her emotions. She could never hide her emotions from me because she was my twin. She denied ruining my career, but I knew the truth. I let her think that I had bought her lies for years, but I never did. I watched as she lived a life that I would have lived. I was too heartbroken to carry on in the career that I've chosen because of her. This week I found out that she was getting married to my celebrity crush. I lost it. My twin sister Angela and I have always supported one another and everything. We've always loved each other and seen each other as one. As we grew older, we realized that we had each different interest. I wanted to be a model while my sister wanted to be an actress, and we each devoted several years to our chosen profession. Our parents supported us, and I was doing well in my modeling career. But my sister was struggling to break through in the acting world. You know, my modeling gigs were good money and helped alleviate of our parents' expenses. As for my sister, she was spending more money than she was making. She asked me to help her get some small gigs so that she could fund her career. I decided to help her since I knew that, acting was her only plan. She was currently in art school while I was busy studying interior design. I was set to graduate earlier than expected and was very excited. In addition to that, I have just been chosen for one of the biggest campaigns ever. I was going to be shooting with a well-known makeup brand for an international campaign. All of my work was finally paying off. This was going to kickstart my career, and things were not going to be the same after this. At my shoots, I met some industry icons whom I spoke to. They were all very interesting in seeing how I would do in this campaign, and of course I felt the pressure to do very well. I could not mess it up. I was focused. I was hitting the gym every chance I could. Eating healthy, taking care of my skin like never before. It got to an obsessive point, and my sister told me that it was a bit annoying. So I had to sit her down and tell her about all the doors this opportunity would open for me. I wished that I had not. My sister had been satisfied with small modeling gigs and acting auditions, decided that she wanted to be famous. She was tired of living in my shadow with no backup plan, and I'm sure that she resented me for being so close to graduating and also becoming an industry name. She never told me this, but I could just discern it. After what she did, I had a very long time to think about why she might have sabotaged me. It all boiled down to straight-up jealousy and wanting what was mine. It sickened her that my life was about to change while hers remained stagnant. That's why she gave me the nut-laced juice right before the most important shoot of my career. Ugh, all the stops had been pulled. I had been keeping a rigorous routine all week, and I had been staying away from anything that could harm me. I had not driven unless I needed to, had not eaten anything with fat in it, and had stayed away from anyone who had ever seemed sick. I was not going to let anything stop me. I was ready to show the world who I was. I was at the very pinnacle of success, and then she gave me that drink. My sister came to me with that, to watch the shoot that day. She told me that her classes were canceled, so she came to support me. Even though I had an assignment, she was at my beck and call, and it felt so good to have my twin there with me. Her calm energy definitely helped to calm my nerves, and before I went in, she gave me some juice. She told me that she noticed that I was looking a bit pale because I was limiting my food intake. She promised me that the juice was organic and would help bring some color to my cheeks. Playing into my insecurities was genius of her because I gobbled up that juice. Less than 5 minutes later, my throat closed up and I was on the floor. The first responders got there quickly and could determine that I had an allergy, a very bad one. I was rushed to the hospital and admitted I almost did not make it because of those nuts. They were able to confirm that the juice I drank had a combination of nuts in it. My sister pleaded innocence, saying that she had no idea. In her defense, the text on the juice was not clear about it. She said that she knew about my nut allergy and would never do it to me deliberately, When she came to see me, she was crying and putting on a show, but somehow I just knew. Her energy shifted since I got the job. I'd stayed silent and not confronted her because I thought it had nothing to do with me. She had many problems in her life, and it could have been any of them. I was not so vain to think that her life revolved around me. Apparently, I had been right. I was pretty sure that she did this on purpose so that she could get the one thing she desired in her life, which was fame. I could not leave the hospital for days, which meant a crisis for the campaign. Apparently, they were running such a strict schedule that they asked my sister to replace me temporarily. I wanted to go back afterward, but my parents were too worried about me. They took me home and babied me for a while, and unfortunately for me, the doctors ran tests and found out that I was very malnourished, which made the nut allergy even worse. They needed me to eat and go back to being healthy. If I did that, there would be no more modeling for me. In the meantime, my sister came to me and asked for tips in order to nail the job. I was not entirely sure that she sabotaged me, and she was being so nice to me that I felt bad for suspecting her. She was my twin. Hurting me would be like hurting herself, right? Well, I was wrong, because while I was at home, I started to get emails from companies I've been working for dropping me. They somehow found out about my health issues and felt as if I needed a break. They somehow got it in their heads that I could not manage my own healthy eating, that the modeling was affecting it. There could have only been one person who did that to me, and that was my sister. The email I had been waiting on came through sooner, and I had lost my biggest job to my sister because they had no idea when I would recover and could not take a chance. They felt as if using my sister made, sense, since we were identical, and they would not have to start over with a new model. Just like that, my world absolutely slipped from my fingertips. I said nothing to her because I didn't want to disrupt the peace at home. Instead, guys, I just decided to focus on graduating and getting a job. Modeling as well, and would have been nice, but nearly dying because of it opened up my eyes. My sister was brought to light by the dark side of the modeling world where anyone would kill to be at the top. She had decided to take her own sister in order to get what she wanted, and I decided to let her have it, but I did not forget. For over 3 years, I've thought about what she had done. I've waited for her to come clean to me and apologize, but I've gotten none of that. Now, here she is sending me an invitation to her wedding to Brian, and she knew that I had a crush on him for years. But I was never in his circle. It feels like a big, you know what, to me. Should I go to the wedding, or should I continue to pretend like she does not exist? Update number 1. First of all, I want to thank each and every one of you for the valuable contributions that you've made to my last post. It felt so good to release all the pain that I've been feeling. For 3 years, I've kept my head down and worked hard at my job. I've had people recognize me and mistake me for my sister, which hurt, and if things have gone according to plan, they would have recognized me for me. Well, I've been feeling the knife that she put in my back, and I've been thinking of only one thing. I've been wishing for the day someone takes everything away from her like she did to me. I've been wanting her to fall from grace and acknowledge what she did to me those years ago. It's been my wish, and it's kept me going. I've been fueled by revenge every time I see her stupid face on Instagram. I've hated the fact that we look alike and have done all I can to make sure that we look nothing alike. The time that I had the most trouble with is avoiding her. In the first year after graduating, I had no choice but to be around her and listen to her gloating. I was forced to cheer her on as she booked each and every one of her dream gigs. I died inside as she replaced me in the modeling world, and nobody knew my name anymore. I put extra effort into finding a job as far away from her as possible, and I did it. Over the past 2 years, I've only seen my family a handful of times. Each time they want to see me, I make up an excuse. If I know that she's going to be there in advance, then I cancel. Because of that, I miss knowing that she got into a relationship with Brian. I found out about it soon enough, but I doubted that they would stay together for long. Brian was famous for going through model girlfriends and just dumping them. Many people thought that he was going to be a bachelor forever, and I thought that my sister was just another in a long line of failed relationships. But oh boy, was I wrong. Fate decided to play a prank on me and have the two of them get engaged. Now I have to go to their wedding, and not only that, my sister wants me to do the decor for her wedding. Angela somehow got my number and called me days after the invite. She wanted to confirm that I got it, and I told her that I did, but I've been busy with work, and she then asked me how I would feel about doing the decor for her wedding. I reminded her that I don't do weddings, but she would not hear it. She said that I had great style and I knew her better than everybody. She also said that she felt as if we had drifted apart over the years, and she really wanted to bond. She also told me that there would be a fat check in store for me. Well, I resisted, telling her that I did not want to mess up her wedding, but inside I was smiling. This new development was unexpected but not unwelcome. Going to her wedding was going to kill me, but maybe I could use this opportunity to get closer to her and her loved. Then I would take an eye for an eye by ruining her marriage before it even began. I found myself smiling ear to ear as she continued to offer me more money. I pretended to be defeated when I said I'd do it, but instead I was happy. She had just made the biggest mistake ever, and had she not learned from what she did 3 years ago about not letting your enemy close? But then again, she had no idea just how much I hated her. Update number 2. 1 month later. Hey, I took a couple weeks off from work to see my sister. This is why I've been quiet. I've been putting my plan together so that I can expose her. I want her to be unable to leave the house when I'm done with her. I'm not going to mess with her wedding decor to get back to her, though it's tempting. I don't want to get sued. I will just look like a jealous sister, and everyone will pity her. No, I want to find secrets that she's keeping that are deeper than the ones I already knew. And I think I have the right person to help me with that. One of her bridesmaids, Faith. I know Faith because she was a model about 1.5 years ago. Her career absolutely imploded after she was accused of taking drugs. Many models have been in drug scandals, and she could have gotten away with it. But when it was revealed that she might have also given them to her sister, it was game over, baby. Faith pleaded innocent, but lost everything. She was in rehab for a couple of months, and then she came back. She was now going to be my sister's bridesmaids, which did not make sense to me. My suspicions were proven right when I saw that Faith added sugar and extra creamer to my sister's coffee, even though she was on a diet. I kept quiet and observed her for the rest of the day, and I saw her doing small things to inconvenience my sister. When we got to the bridal story to try on dresses, we found out that my sister apparently moved the date. She was so adamant that she did not move the date, and it was the fault of the bridal shop lady. She ended up getting into a fight with the lady, who did not appreciate it at all and banned her. I looked at Faith's face the whole time this was happening, and I caught her smirking a few times. Later that day, we had dinner, and guess who could not find her bank card? Angela was fuming and incredibly embarrassed considering the fact that it was a 5-star hotel. One of the guests of the relatives of Brian's then asked why she suggested such a place if she could not afford it. They then said that she had been an airhead all day. My sister looked like she was going to explode and tell them their business, but she did not. These were his relatives, and if she was rude to them, they would report back to him. In the time I spent with her, I saw that she seemed to really care about what her fiancé thought. She seemed to really want him to think that she was perfect. Eventually, she managed to go out, get some cash at an ATM, and come settle the bill. Myself, Faith, and another lady decided to settle our bills while she was gone. I followed Faith's lead and everything because I was pretty sure that she was the one doing all of this. So, after she came back, she settled the bill, and then everyone left. You know, once outside, everybody started getting into their respective cars just so they could leave. That was my chance to stop Faith and confront her. As she was getting into her car, I stopped her and told her that she had dropped something. When she took away what I got, she turned a bit pale but recovered. She then asked me why I was handing her a sugar packet from that morning, and I whispered and asked her why she had been loading the coffee with sugar when she knew that my sister was not taking any. I asked if she really saw her as a threat, even though her own modeling career was absolutely over. I left her standing there to think. That evening, I get a message from her, and she told me that she saw my number on the WhatsApp group, and she wanted to explain that she loved my sister and was not trying to sabotage her. I told her to stop pretending because I hated that woman. She called me 2 minutes later, and we had a pretty interesting conversation. I'll not tell you what she had said yet, but was very, very interesting. Update number 3. 2 weeks later. I have a confession to make. I did not move on in the years after my sister just went ahead to steal my career. Instead, I worked hard to make it look like I had moved on. I moved far away and excelled in my career to make everyone think that I had no interest in modeling anymore. Even she was fooled into thinking that I did not care. What she did not know was that I was biding my time until she had something that I could take. In the beginning, I wanted to take away her career. I had kept tabs on her for years and noticed something, and she was not that well liked amongst her friends. She never seemed to have the same friend group for too long, and she also never liked to be upstaged. She always wanted to be queen bee and most successful. Anyone who seemed more successful than her usually got replaced. Many called her a rising star, but I felt there was more to it. When I read Faith's story, I was even more sure that she was busy sabotaging her friend in order to have a career. Faith was a big deal. She was famous on more than one continent and was multi-talented and was dating a rising pop star. Not long after her career bombed, her boyfriend was seen with Angela. It was only for a few weeks and nobody spoke about it again. I gathered most of this information from girls who worked with her. I infiltrated them and pretended to be the other people online. It was not a good thing to do, I know, but I had to get some valuable information, somehow. I usually pretended to be a local model who was currently out of the country, and they somehow believed me. I feel bad about having to lie, but doing so helped me get so much information, such as the fact that she was a bully. I got access to some screenshots where she was bullying other girls, and I put those in my evidence folder. Little did I know, what I was not the only one out there gunning for her. Faith was too. She was skeptical about gossiping to me about my own twin in the beginning, until I told her my story and showed her the information that I collected. I told her that she could go with her information to my sister if she wanted, but I knew she would not. I'd seen that look in her eyes whenever she looked at my sister. She was in deep pain because of her actions. Basically, my sister had been doing drugs with other girls, but Faith never did. Her younger sister hung around her apartment sometimes, but never when those girls were there. However, one day there was a search of her apartment, and some girls used to work with lied about her exposing her young sister to drugs. She ended up losing her career and going on straight-up probation. My sister kept her around, but only because she knew her secret. I asked what the secret was, and she laughed, and she said that Angela and Faith's pop star ex-boyfriend had been having an affair for over a year now. Faith found out about it, and Angela begged her not to say anything. In exchange, she gave her some low-level jobs to stay afloat. Faith decided to do that for a while as she planned what to do next. I was flabbergasted. What kind of monster was my twin? Final update 2 months later, here it is. I just wanted to let you all know that finally my sister has been exposed. She's gone from 0 to 0 overnight, baby. Faith and I were the catalyst that started the movement against an industry bully and cheater. Once we opened our mouth, we gave others courage to speak out. I can't believe that it's now 2 months after the wedding and people are still talking about her. She's especially famous in our hometown, but not for the right reasons. Mom and Dad say that Angela have been getting death threats and even phone calls. Mom told her to stop contacting them to stay away from the house, and they did not raise somebody like that. That's the aftermath of me and Faith blowing the lid at the wedding. Her wedding was a beautiful grand affair that was live streamed. I was even sponsored by some well-known brands and was the event of the decade in our small little town. Well, her fiancé is not that famous. He's very well known here. I did the best job ever on the decor and got a fat check for it. Everything went according to plan, that is. Oh yeah, until the part where the officiator asked if anybody was against the wedding, and that's when I had no choice but to stand up and tell the truth. I said that I was against her getting married when her fiancé did not even know the real her. As she was looking at me and trying to figure out what I was even doing, Faith played the audio that she recorded months ago.
It was her ex admitting to her that he was still sleeping with Angela even though she was getting married, and he went on to talk about how Brian did not satisfy her because he was too clean-cut when she preferred a rebel. The audio went into explicit details where he was basically bragging to Faith about how she had always been a boring girl. She had been saving that recording for the wedding day. That would have been enough to blow things up, but I wasn't done yet. I'd paid somebody to connect a projector to the front of the room. There, text messages talking about her bullying came out. As they played, I told everybody that she did this to me all those years ago. She was frozen when I played them as if she had just gotten a system glitch, which is what made it absolutely perfect. So, meanwhile, Brian was just standing there, looking disgusted, and he then asked her if what this was saying did not want to sign a prenup. So she could steal his business with her little boy toy, and she stood there crying and begging him not to believe us, but he would not hear it. He took his ring off and threw it at her, and people went wild. My sister had to go off social media due to all the hate that she got. Brands started to drop her and remove her from all their campaigns, and the scandal was too much to salvage. You know what the best part was, guys? She contacted me not long after and asked me why I never confronted her about what she did to me. I told her it's because I wanted her to taste the fame that she was hungry for, and I lost it. I told her that the pain of losing her as a sister nearly killed me. I hope that she knew how I felt now, and she had taken from me the things that I loved the most, and that was on her. Our bond had been unbreakable before she tainted it. Well, in turn, I took away what she loved. All the attention, the praise, and the glory of being the top. It was all gone in a moment, and she had nothing left. I blocked her from everything after that and started to focus on my own healing journey. My parents were very supportive of me and wished that they had taken action earlier on. They had suspected that she did it on purpose, but since I said nothing, they did not want to hurt me. It's funny how your own blood can know your darkest self subconsciously. Well, that's it, guys. Top comment from the updates comes from Archie Lewis III. I don't know. I'm not sure that you should have wasted years trying to take her down. I think you should have tried to rebuild your career and surpassed her. That would have been the perfect revenge. For her to see you succeed even after being knocked down would have been perfect. It looks like Faith already had a plan to knock your sister down a peg or two anyways. Did you really need to waste all your time and energy on her? I don't know. That's just my opinion on the matter. I think that revenge rots the soul. It comes with an obsession that can just turn very dark quickly. Even after you've gotten what you want, that feeling remains, and I know that feeling is still with you, OP. But then again, I'm just assuming. Please don't take this the wrong way. I sympathize with you and how you have been wronged. You did not deserve this at all.